Have you ever taken a trip to really run away from your responsibilities, including of that being a mother? How important it is in today's day and age for both the partners to earn a living, to earn money, rather than being dependent on one. माँ की तरह कपड़े पहनो.
बिल्कुल नहीं.
Coming back to your child, how do you manage the screen time that he's exposed to? Hi Ravi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Joy. How are you?
I'm very good, and I think we got second time lucky. The last time.
I know there was.
Yes.
Yes.
So we'll talk a little bit about your motherhood. We'll talk a lot about your travels, and we'll also talk a little bit about your husband.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so that he should not feel left out.
Of course. So in that order.
Yeah. So we'll start with your travels. You know, wherever you travel, wherever you've been, it's all out there on the internet. You've shared a lot of pictures and videos on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with a very simple question.
Mm-hmm.
For any Indian who wants to, go abroad, or maybe they're going abroad for the first time, what are the 3 countries you'll definitely recommend them?
If I have to generalize and maybe stereotype in a way where the requirements are like the kind of food that might be available to you. जो काफ़ी होता है, because most Indians prefer Indian food, or at least after a point they want to eat Indian food.
Yeah. That's pretty ironic though,
yes,
but
yes. So not as adventurous as we think we are.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend places which are closer to India. Of course, the Emirates, Dubai,
yes.
So you have a huge population and you will get fantastic food.
Correct.
So that for sure. And the travel time is less. It's very children friendly. There's a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
It ticks all the boxes.
Right.
And I will also definitely recommend anywhere in Southeast Asia, Thailand, for example.
Right.
It's economical as well.
Yes.
And again, there are a lot of, since we are a nation who loves to travel, and there are a lot of Indians who travel there, so the food requirements, it feels very comfortable, it feels very homely, it doesn't feel very alien, even though the language is very different, from... and also, I would recommend, our neighbors in Nepal. I had the good fortune of going to Nepal. It was for a family wedding. And I love the country. It's so close. It's like home. I mean, it feels like another India. So I would definitely recommend Nepal again.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about Nepal's food?
I love it. In fact, I had some last night. I had, it's called momo achar. I love that.
Yes.
So I had that last night. Funny you should ask. And of course, there is the culture. The last time I was there, it was unfortunate in the sense that, there was an earthquake, and we were there when the earthquake struck. So I saw a lot of tragedy, I saw a lot of destruction, but they did bounce back, and now with the current ongoing, I really wish them well. And it's a beautiful nation with beautiful people, and I'm really hoping that they will be back on their feet be where they want to be and how they want to be.
Absolutely. So you mentioned about Indians having Indian food when they go outside the country.
Yes.
Now there are a lot of memes also around it.
I know.
Don't you think if you are going to a different country, you're spending all that money, you should actually explore the local cuisine?
I do. I mean, we love, me, my husband, even my child for that matter, we love exploring different foods. In fact, a lot of times when we go and stay in a particular hotel, we actually check out the buffet, how popular it is with the tourists. So yeah, we definitely do.
And why do you think is there a rigidity amongst Indians not to try the local cuisine?
Perhaps because of the lack of exposure thus far to different cuisines. Now in the last few years, a decade or decade and a half, it has opened up a lot, because of the internet. particularly, that there are new recipes. Korean food, for
Right,
example, is
right.
so much more easily accessible. So now people are opening up,
Correct.
right? And they are trying out all the ramyuns and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that primarily was the reason, that they didn't know. They didn't know that it could be as tasty.
Right. Have you ever taken a trip to really run away from your responsibilities, including of that being a mother?
Once, yes.
And where was that?
I went to Kasol
Okay.
with a couple of my girlfriends, and it was an impromptu. One of those weekend evenings where you've had a couple of glasses of wine, and everyone gets very ambitious, and they're
Right.
like, "Arey,
Yeah.
chalo kahin chalte hain." And we were all together. Our respective spouses were there as well, and they're like, "Arey, chalo chalte hain." And right there and then, luckily, everyone agreed, and we booked our tickets. And within the next 2 days, we were out of the city. And it wasn't as much as escaping the responsibilities. I've never traveled on my own.
Right.
I hadn't by then. And it was wonderful. I just wanted to do something as an adult.
Right.
You know,
Is
travel.
there ever been something that you've done on a trip which cannot come out of the family group chat?
The family group chat. No, not so far. Like I said, I've been a mother for a while now, and I have to make sure that I'm setting the right example. But no, not so far.
And is there a place which you can call home other than home, obviously?
Yes, Goa.
Ah.
Goa, in a
And
heartbeat.
which part
Goa.
of Goa?
Anjana. I
Oh,
have
that's
my
wonderful.
dearest friend who moved during lockdown, and she never came back.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she stayed back, and she has a lovely little boutique property. And so, yes, and our children are the same age, and they're best friends too.
Right.
So whenever I do get a chance to, or even when I don't, I make time and we run off to Goa.
What does Goa mean to you?
Goa is actually, it's unfortunate living in Bombay and being so close to the ocean that we don't have a relationship with the ocean that one would like to have. Apart from the walks on the beach is not, for me, is not the
Right.
relationship I
Right.
want. I want to
Right.
be in the sea, which is clean, the beach, which is clean. I understand Mumbai is a hugely populated city. We do not have probably the resources or the manpower for it to be as clean. But yeah, that's what it is for me. Goa to me symbolizes that the susegado is called the way of life, the chill, the easy, very relaxed, no baggage kind of vibe is what Goa means to me.
And if you have to describe Goa in just one word,
Peace.
I think Goa is love. I think it's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
And it lets you be.
Yeah.
It lets you be yourself.
Yeah.
There is no sense of judgment.
Like I said, no baggage there,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, and I don't necessarily mean in a way that you want to wear a swimsuit and no one will judge. Nobody will judge. You could be out in your pajamas and nobody will
Exactly.
judge you.
Anyway, you can be unkempt.
Yeah, you could be unkempt.
Nobody will.
Nobody will bat an eyelid. No.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
place for somebody if they want to be really dressed up.
Yeah.
And there's place for somebody if they don't want to dress up.
Yeah.
As
And
if
they could be in the same place together, and it's totally cool.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. So coming to judgment, so you dress very bold, you dress very free, you dress very confident. You dress as if you love being in your own skin. You dress to impress yourself rather than impressing your others. That's what I feel. Has there been any sense of judgment from any other mothers out there, or do you feel a sense of judgment?
Thank you, first and foremost. I agree with almost everything you said, except the fact that I dress bold, which is not how. I mean, I wouldn't define it like
Well,
that.
obviously,
You
yeah.
understand? I mean, it
Yes.
sounds a little like trying to make a point.
Right.
Have I faced judgment from other mothers? No, not at all.
Right. That's wonderful.
Yeah, not at all. And I don't mean people who are my friends.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously, you'll not
I'm
face
not
judgment from
talking
your friends.
about
Correct. Yeah.
my friends or even a vibe.
Right,
कभी
yeah.
कभी हो सकता है कि किसी को लगे, oh my God, is it maybe something that they don't relate to. But whether it's mothers of my age, my generation, or from family, who are also mothers, no, I think a lot has changed, in terms of how people allow women to be. I'm not saying it's there or anywhere even close to being there, but a lot has changed. If they feel so, they're not rude about it anyway.
राइट
Yeah,
राइट
yeah.
राइट कभी ऐसा किसी ने बोला है कि आप अभी आप माँ बन गई हो तो माँ के तरह कपड़े पहनो, ऐसा
बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल
सोशल
भी
मीडिया
नहीं।
में कभी कमेंट्स आए हैं?
अभी तक तो नहीं आए हैं,
हाँ,
अभी तक तो नहीं आए हैं
I must say we're very kind audience then.
so
you know.
far.
Yes.
But I also understand, this is how it is. I mean, people have opinions. They have their experiences, they have their upbringing, and, they have their ideas of how everything should be under the
Right.
sun. And if I put myself out on the social media, dressed in a way that does not resonate with people or someone, they might say. So I am preparing myself for that as well.
Right.
And I hope to take it in a healthy stride.
Right. So you also get a lot of good attention from people on social media. कभी आपके husband insecure या jealous हुए हैं?
Never. I've known Manoj now, my husband, for nearly 20 years,
Wow.
since we met. Yes, it's
You all
been
had a love
while.
marriage.
Well, aren't all marriages love marriages? Well, they should be.
It should be.
It should be.
It should be.
But
yeah.
yes, I understand your question. And yes, it was. We weren't arranged to meet.
Okay.
We met. It was a very happy chance that I met him at a common friend's wedding.
Okay.
And we hit it off. And no, that was, I think, one thing which was extremely refreshing. And of course, everyone hopes for it. But when he didn't have to say it. I felt it. In my bones, I felt it. I saw it. It was how confident he is in his skin. Is probably one of the biggest things that I found attractive about him.
Right. And since the time you got married, was there ever a moment where you had to choose between being a wife and being yourself?
What does that mean?
So Indian women are often subjected to a lot of responsibility which perhaps they don't want.
With the expectations
Expectations.
of a bahu.
Exactly.
I mean, you may not believe it, but no, never. I've had such, I won't even say supportive. I mean, it's very organic.
It's a given. It should be a given. But the
it's very
problem is that in
organic.
India, it's not a given.
It is not.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
People often say, my husbands allow me to wear, allow me to work. Now, that's very, very problematic.
It's unfortunate.
It's very
and it is true also.
Yes.
But it is unfortunate. And it is, I find it very odd to say that I am fortunate because why should I have to be fortunate?
Exactly. It's a given. It
It
should be a way of life.
It should be just
Absolutely.
like I am not, it's like he's not asking my permission. And I mean, we might discuss things when it
Obviously,
comes to,
there are some things which
some
obviously
things,
as a
of course.
couple, as a husband and wife, there are things which you are discussed mutually. Now,
Absolutely, because we are partners,
yes,
right?
yes.
But having said that, no. Never, not from my in-laws or my parents. I mean, मैंने कभी देखा ही नहीं.
So what would be your message to the women out there, even to the women who very unknowingly, they're kind of supporting it and they're saying, I'm very proud that my husband allows me to do this.
See, when...
And they don't find it problematic, by the way.
So then I have no business giving them opinions if they haven't asked me for it. As long as, they are in their space where they are fulfilled in their lives.
But don't you think as a fellow Indian, as a fellow woman, it's our responsibility to get that thing out of their head? Because that's not the
If someone asks me, yes, then I would.
What would you tell them?
I will say to find a space or, go out there. I'm not saying it's necessary to work for a living, but do something purely for yourself. Right. So when you feel the independence, that sense of fulfillment when you do something purely for yourself, that is when, these things don't matter as much.
Right.
Or rather you get a perspective on how to navigate through these norms. So I think that is what I would suggest to everyone.
Right.
Then you can see for yourself what works for you or what doesn't work for you.
Right.
That is one thing I would definitely suggest to every woman at some point. Do things for yourself, whether it's traveling alone,
Right.
whether it's working,
Right.
whatever that means.
Right.
Not ठीक है किसी और के लिए भी करने में खुशी मिलती है, but do it purely for yourself. Whether it's putting mascara, whether it's yoga, whether it's travel, working, anything at all.
Right.
Just for yourself.
Right. Same question को मैं थोड़ा और we'll just turn it around. कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि माँ और अपने आप में चूज करने में कभी ऐसा कोई प्रॉब्लम हुआ हो? ये decision लेना.
Okay, for example, today.
हाँ.
I had to be here and I have work to do. My child is not very young. He is a preteen now.
Right.
And so he came back from school. He has his exams. And I know he was a bit nervous. It's Marathi exam. And, you know, I didn't really get the time. I didn't get the time to,
Right.
you know, sit him down, have even a little chat with him. I had to rush. So I won't say I chose, but yeah, I made a decision that, you know, I'll go home and then I'll have that chat with him. It did leave me with a tinge of guilt, perhaps. So yes, so these little things, I suppose, every day, I suppose, at some point I do.
So is that guilt down to the conditioning of how,
Oh no.
or is it just down to pure love?
It's motherhood.
Yeah,
you know, there is a
yes,
switch that comes
yes.
on. Trust me, whether you are maternal or not, you know, there's literally a physiological switch in my experience that comes on the moment you pop out a child, and that doesn't go away. My mother has 2 children who are in their 40s and she still feels so. So I suppose it's part and parcel, and very happily a very beautiful part and parcel of motherhood.
How is it raising a Gen Alpha child?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था ये Gen Alpha क्या होता है. Till he comes and tells me कि Mama, I don't know where the conversation started. It's Gen Alpha, and I'm like, huh? What even is that, right? So I actually Googled it, and then I'm like, Acha, he is a Gen Alpha child. It's a learning curve. Like, I'm sure every generation has had it before them, because it's a generational difference. They don't know.
Correct.
They are, my parents weren't exposed to what I was exposed to socially, and like I'm not. So yeah, it's a huge learning curve. I'm proud to say there are things that he teaches me, and he corrects me, and and he's right.
Yes.
Maybe there might be little things, but so I'm very happy, I'm proud, I'm learning, and I'm hoping he will learn from me too.
What is the weirdest thing he has taught you?
Oh my God, weirdest thing he's taught me. He's taught me some, not taught me per se, but he started saying bro.
Okay.
And I heard him call his friends, and these are all 11 plus, say, or 11, 12-year-old, and they're calling each other bro. And I'm like, you know, I don't know when was the last time I said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like these which take me by surprise.
And has your mother ever like seen him grow and wondered कि भाई ये तो अलग ही है, मतलब कभी ऐसा थॉट आया? बिकॉज इतना जनरेशनल चेंज हो रहा है, यू नो, जैसे कि मिलेनियल्स या जेनजी तो फिर भी मतलब मैं बोलूँगा मतलब थोड़ा सा जनरेशन पहले है, कुछ मैचिंग है, अब तो
कुछ समझ में आता है,
कुछ समझ आता है. अब तो आपकी मॉम ने ऐसा कुछ बोला है कि भाई बेटा ये क्या हो रहा है?
All the time, because so Nani, we call her Nani. I don't call her mom anymore. Everyone calls her Nani.
Okay.
So when Agastya was born, my son, and he is the only child of his generation in our family. My brother chose to not have children very happily, and good for him. So my son is the only extremely doted upon grandchild in the house. So she spends a lot of time with him. She obviously loves him to death, and he loves Legos, and he loves robotics, and he's geeky, you know, and he has a gift of the gab. So whenever he talks to his Nani, my mom, half the time my mom is like, I don't know what he's saying, but I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it is.
Right. So there are a lot of again women who believe that their personal identity often ends with either getting married, maybe 50% is done after you're getting married, and another 50% is done.
बच्चा हो गया. हाँ. बच्चे को बड़ा कर दिया, शादी कर दी, तो फिर वो खत्म.
Exactly.
जिम्मेदारियां ही खत्म.
सब कुछ जिम्मेदारी खत्म. Everything is over. So again, what would it take for Indian women to come out of that cocoon and live their life?
It's the desire to want to do it. You know, it's, you know, I'll give you a little story. When we had Agastya, initially I was very hesitant about having another child, but I was fortunate enough, I had a easy enough delivery. And right in the labor room, I told my husband, I was so happy. We were both crying. And I said, I want to have another child.
Okay.
Right then, he's
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
baby,
Right.
and then later on, we had a real conversation. And I said, I think we should have another child. And he was like, we've always wanted the one, and we have the one, and we are very happy. He's like, we can have two, we can have three, but he's like, don't you want to work? मतलब कब तक, how long do you want to keep raising children? He's like,
Correct.
we'll be very happy. But, I mean, what do you want for yourself? And, that perspective, I hadn't thought about that. और ऐसा नहीं है that I'm not working, I wasn't working at that point, or I didn't have ambitions. But मैंने सोचा ही नहीं इस बारे में. And suddenly I was like, yeah, I mean, he's right. So I suppose that really helped, having a partner who saw me as an individual, who saw my success as important, or rather it was not just important, it was imperative for the success
Absolutely,
of
yes,
our relationship.
Yes, right.
And that's how I started thinking about it, So I think, yes, that is something, and that perspective, या आपसे खुद से आता है, या if you have people around you who can do that for you. If you haven't been brought up like that, or if you're not from that setup where it's assumed that you will be working or you need to work. So the exposure, those ideas and thinking for yourself is really important. Especially once you're in your 40s, then it's like, ab kya?
Right.
Like you were talking about bachon ki shaadi and all that, and I would say perimenopause for that matter.
Correct.
When things start changing for women, emotions change, physicality changes. That's the time I think you need to start, putting more onus on yourself, placing yourself, no, I'm not saying ahead of everyone else, but as important as everyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
And how important it is in today's day and age for both the partners to earn a living, to earn money, rather than being dependent on one.
I think it was always very important. And not even if you need the money. I mean, if you need the money, then of course. But as in, by needing money, I mean, everyone has their own understanding of what is,
Absolutely. Yes.
But again, it's being independent.
Financially independent.
Yes, financially independent. And the kind of confidence that brings in.
Correct.
I mean, you may be, generationally wealthy.
Correct.
But when you earn that first 1,000 or 5,000 or 50,000, that sense of achievement is, I think, it's like as important as probably getting married and having a baby. It's a huge milestone. And it's not something that everyone should experience at some point in their life.
Right. Yeah. Because again in India, because we're in India, so we're obviously talking about
Yeah,
India.
of course.
There is we are living in a patriarchal setup, so there's this thing that women don't need to earn. So again, that has
ज़रूरत ही नहीं है.
ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. अभी obviously now things are changing. बहुत बेहतर हुआ है. But I think it is also down to a lot of women themselves to change.
Yes.
Because वो एक कहावत है ना कि औरत ही औरत की सबसे बड़ी दुश्मन है.
I know what you mean. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Whether it's because of your conditioning, the way you've been brought up. But I think the world has opened up so much. There is so much information on your fingertips where you can see how lives change, and that we don't need to stick to these ideas that have been drilled into you. That at least सोच के तो देखो.
Right.
क्या बदल सकता है.
Right.
And again, like I say, मुझे नहीं लगता all of it is very vicious when they're judging another woman. It is because they've been taught to do that.
Yeah.
कि then you start judging yourself कि अगर ये सही है तो फिर मैं गलत हूँ क्या. So I think that's where you need to understand that, I mean, who are we to judge anyone at all? You ask me a question and I'm like, who am I to give anyone an opinion at all? Unless they seek my opinion. So yes, why just women? Even, I mean, on social media, things become really vicious, with the trolls. I really don't know what is the gender behind those keyboards. But the judgment is out there. It's rampant. It's disheartening. It breaks down people I've seen. I have heard where really young people have resorted to very tragic steps because they couldn't deal with the judgment or the humiliation they were put through. So this is a very important conversation that almost everyone should be having, because social media is out there, Insta is out there. Everyone needs to talk about that. Some things are just not acceptable, and I don't know whether the platforms can do something about it, if they can, somehow make sure that this is not encouraged or they are reprimanded. Because this, I find, as a parent to a youngster who will have his own account at some point, and what he will be subjected to for could be any reason. Yeah, it could be a legit reason. I don't know if there is any legit reason to troll and humiliate someone,
Correct.
but there should be some moderation on part of the platforms also. मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
And how do you manage, because again, coming back to your child, how do you manage the screen time that he's exposed to?
It's tough, and he's a single child. But I have been a typical mother where I keep him so busy that he does not get a lot of time on screen. But when he does, it's well deserved. Jitna ho sake, I try to monitor what he's watching and what he's playing. Again, there is only so much I can do without me being the nagging helicopter mother.
Right, obviously.
I will have to trust his judgment at some point, and I have to make sure that I'm there to take care of him if something, unfortunately, hurts him.
Does he go out and play, or is it?
No.
How do you think? Like, don't you think that's important?
By play, I mean, I'm sorry, you meant what?
Go out and play, as in niche jaake
Sports,
khelna,
yes,
sports and all
of course.
Yes,
Of course he does.
Right.
Yes, he loves rollerblading. He does that. Yeah.
Because I think, when the millennials or the generation before that, or even after that, was trying, when we were growing up, I think going out and playing with our friends was a big part of how.
That is all there was to do.
Yes.
There was, I mean, even they
तो
might have
gadgets
been
तो थे
TV,
नहीं.
but then TV was also very limited,
Limited,
कि
few
Sunday को
channels,
सुबह कुछ
हाँ,
आता था
exactly.
and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was not on our fingertips.
Yeah.
Okay, you have an iPad or a phone or whatever. So it wasn't accessible, and there was nothing to watch.
Right.
So all you could do was run around. Right. And then I remember then we used to get yelled at because वो रात हो जाती थी, बच्चे हैं ही नहीं. So mom would get mad about it. So yeah, that's how we've grown up, and I try to encourage it as much as I can, of course.
So for any mother, or for any would-be mother who also is in love with what she's doing professionally, what would you tell them to, what should be like the must-haves or the must-dos or the know-hows, that if you're being a mother, never to sacrifice your own choices or your own identity in life?
Absolutely.
How to balance both? What would be your key takeaways?
See, how to balance has a lot to do with the support system you have. And it goes for both my partner and me both. What he can balance with has a lot to do with what we both can achieve together. Some days he does his bit, some days I do my bit. And if we are fortunate, like I am fortunate enough to have my parents around, I don't depend on them. They are certainly not babysitters, but it really helps. That's where I'm very grateful that we live in India, where we do have a setup where grandparents are always around, are usually around.
Yes.
And that with the joint family wali jo benefits hai, even though we don't live in the same home, but they live very close to me.
Yeah.
So no, this is not something you can actually control. Like I said, I'm grateful that my parents are around. What if they lived in another city? Kya karte? So then you have to manage your time.
Yeah.
Try to find some help, or you get your friends to chip in some days, which, I do have friends also, lovely people, that they're like, acha, tujhe jana hai, send him over to mine. I'll make sure he's fed and he's eaten and he can even sleep at mine. Okay. So I think it's like, it's a village, right? It takes a village. Yeah. And again, it's for all of us. It's not just to bring up the children. We all need that village.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ravi, it's been a very fresh conversation, I must say.
Really?
It was very refreshing for me because I really admire the school of thoughts you have, and I had a very, very refreshing conversation after a long time, and I must say it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I had a great time. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
down.
you, Joy. It has indeed been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you
Really.
so much.
Thank
Please
you.
take care of yourself, your family, and I wish you all the very best in whatever you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.